Hello everybody, this is Goofsome Fox coming at you with a 500 cost rated match here in the buffed Gym Quel. We are going to be on Ravine here, and yep, you heard me right, the Gym Quel was buffed during the March 2024 unit adjustments. It's probably one of the buffs that might be a bit more well known because this did give the suit an entirely new weapon. It was the only unit adjustment from this update that actually did make this change here. And yep, I'm going to be using this weapon here, and that's going to be the Hyper Bazooka Modified. Now this isn't a new weapon in itself, obviously. This weapon has been in the game for quite a hot minute now, and it's used on a very wide plethora of suits, so it should be a weapon that most are familiar with. But for the Gym Quel here, it is new, and I'll go further into that later into the updates here. But yeah, Gym Quel, I have always liked playing this suit. I always thought it was a pretty nice raid for what it was going for. It's kind of similar to the Gym Custom almost, although this one just has a few more weapons going for it. So, you have the regular grenades, and then you have the flash grenade as well. But the thing with the Gym Quel is that I really never felt like there was much incentive to play it compared to like other raids at the cost it can go to. The suit is a native 400. This is going to be the level 3 500 cost version. So yeah, between 400 to 500 you just have a lot of raids that you can really kind of like go through there, like just cycle through and like play. So I can easily see how the Gym Quel would maybe fall behind other suits. So yeah, good to see it get a buff here, and we're going to jump into it here with the unit's features. This is going to take up the bulk of the update list here. And starting off, we have some changes to the part slots here. So for the close range part slots, they will increase from 12 to 13, for mid-range 11 to 13, and for long range 5 to 6. So yeah, more part slots to work with. That is always nice for any mobile suit. The unit skill, Pursuit Melee Ox Program, has been added. And if you're not familiar with this skill, basically if an enemy is knocked over and you hit him with your melee weapon, you are going to do extra damage. And I think that's a pretty nice change for this suit. It also seems to be a skill that they've been given quite a few raids recently. So, and I think it's not really that bad of a skill, especially on the suits that they are adding it on. It's not as ridiculous as heavy attacks, in my opinion. I do think this is a bit more useful, because again, it does reward you for trying to, be able to rush an enemy, knock them over, and then do a successful follow-up. So you do have some nice aspects to it there. And, well, jumping to the rest of these updates, the rest of these changes to the unit features, these are all going to be specifically for the level 2 and the level 3 variants. And, like, not really, like, separate up, like, buffs, but it's going to be, like, level 2, and then it says underneath how the upper level was also enhanced. So, yeah, level 2 and 3. And we have the level 2 unit HP was increased from 15,000 to 16,000. The speed was increased from 130 to 135. Thrusters were increased from 65 to 70, and the level 2 unit skill reaction booster program level 1 has been given. And yeah, that's everything for the unit features there. Again, that's going to be really the big chunky parts of this unit adjustment. And moving on, we have a new weapon, the Hyper Bazooka Modified, and that, again, that's what I'm using for this match here. Basically, yeah, it's a pretty standard bazooka, though you do have 12 rounds with this one, which is probably one of the higher capacities, or could maybe even be the highest capacity for a bazooka in this game. And then finally for the melee, main melee weapon, the Beam Saber Enhance, the combo attack compensation was increased. And yeah, that's the full list there. Again, not really too much going on with this list here. But there is quite a bit that I still want to talk about with it. Main thing has to be the Hyper Bazooka Modified. That's like the most interesting parts of this buff here, because it is a really nice change for the Gym Quel here. Before this, the Gym Quel's only two optional primaries were either the Gym Rifle, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody use. Maybe on a few rare occasions, but usually it was the other primary weapon, the Gym 2 Beam Rifle. And if you're familiar with the Gym 2 Beam Rifle, it's pretty much your standard instant stun rifle. You fire it, you get a stun, and if you fire it again too quickly, it will overheat. But, yeah, pretty standard rifle there. And it seemed like it was pretty much the go-to for a lot of people using this suit. Because, well, I mean, it is a raid, so in the end of the day, you are trying to get a bit more melee, especially against supports. So you do want something that is able to stun them. And, well, I think the Hyper Bazooka Modified is just a... I don't want to say it's necessarily a better weapon, but it's a better weapon. It is just really nice on this suit. You have, first off, the ammo capacity of the modified Hyper Bazooka, you have 12 rockets to work with. And when you compare that to the Gym 2 Beam Rifle, which would overheat if you fired it 2 times in quick succession, yeah, I'd say the Hyper Bazooka Modified is a pretty worthy trade-off to have. And on top of that, the Gym Quel's weapons, everything is ballistic based. So if you have a reload part on this thing, well, it's going to apply to the Hyper Bazooka as well. If you were, using the Gym 2 rifle, Gym 2 Beam Rifle, I must confuse that and the regular Gym Rifle. If you were using the Gym Rifle machine gun, then yes, reload parts would have applied. But for the Gym 2 rifle, no, you would have to use the overheating piece for that for range weapons. So that is another thing that does add to using the Hyper Bazooka here, is that you can decrease the reload time alongside your other weapons. So yeah, very nice changes going on for this suit here. And yeah, I think it's a lot of fun using this. Again, I've always liked the Gym Quel. It was a suit that whenever I really felt like using it, I would try to get it out. And every time I played it, I mean, I really used to have fun with it. But now I feel like it's it's really in a better place. Especially with that melee ox program, that's another strong thing going for this. I think for this suit it works because it just gives it the little extra oomph to make it a bit more interesting compared to the other offerings. If you want to try to get some extra damage with your melee, then that is a possibility that you can do with this suit here. I believe the Schwarzem Gallus can do it as well, but that's if we're taking 500 into consideration. I gotta remember that the suit is a native 400, and as far as I'm aware, I don't know if that's really anything that 400 has. That might actually be something unique to this suit, but I could be wrong about that. And hey, real quick mission over. I'm gonna look over the stats here before I give my closing thoughts. And doesn't look like I got anywhere on the board here, unfortunately, but I did get first place overall with 5 kills and 2 losses. Not too bad there, and yeah, I think overall with the Gym Quel, it's a pretty simple buff overall. Not really too much aside from the 2 main things that I went over, but I still think it's enough of a quality of life change to at least make the Gym Quel worth, trying out. The Hyper Bazooka Modified is a pretty easy weapon to obtain, and maybe even the Gym Quel itself, I feel like at this point, might also be an easy mobile suit to obtain. So yeah, it will leave open some opportunities to try it out. There is also that X-Men situation battle that's going on that does have the Gym Quel with the Hyper Bazooka, so if you are lucky to get it there as well, there could be another place to try it out. But yeah, overall I think the buffs are pretty good, and well, that's going to be the end of this video here. So comment down below what you think about the buffed Gym Quel. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.